Hey, everybody, it's great to be back. The fans go wild. Jay, thank you so much for being here.
Excited to be here.
Before we dig into what we just saw and how you got there and where you're going, I have to begin with words of praise for you and your team. I'm a fifth-generation New Yorker and comes from a sports-loving family, so that you know it's in my DNA to hate all Boston teams. It's just, it's like sometimes that's the only good thing that happens to us all year. It's like Tom Brady or just like somebody from the past. Like, it doesn't even matter. So imagine my surprise when I am on vacation recently with my husband in visiting a little town outside of Positano, a totally romantic getaway, and the waiter steps up to us in this lovely little breakfast place and says, "Oh, you're from the United States?" And I'm thinking, okay, this could go a variety of ways. I'm prepared to apologize, I'm prepared to explain, I'm prepared to be a good visitor, a good guest. And this young man looks me straight in the face, super earnest, and says, "You have to know, the Celtics are the greatest team ever in the history of the world." I'm like,
They are the winningest
I am
franchise.
so proud. I am so proud to be a Celtics fan. And I think, well, I would have preferred to talk about NATO, really, or tooth decay, or something, right? So, and I said, "Well, where do you watch the?" I was like, "I'm trying to be a good guest. Well, where do you watch the game?" And he points to his hand. He watches it on his phone, thanks to you. And I said, I know a guy, and I'm going to tell him that story by words of praise. So congratulations to that. I have personally met a fan. I was hoping to meet a Knicks fan, but here we are.
There's enough of those.
We are.
Some here today.
We're intrepid. But just before we dig in, by way of just sort of introducing, your bio and what you do all day, can you give us a sense, just like that, of how vast the digital reach of the NBA is?
Yeah, absolutely, and I love that story. Honestly, that touches my heart. I mean, those are the fans that we do what we do for, right? And it's never been a better time to be an NBA fan. We've had a really great season. We have millions of people around the world who use our app, and we have League Pass, which is our streaming service, available in over 200 territories around the world.
Wow.
We also serve a lot of content on social media. We had 124 billion views this season. It was the most viewed season ever on social media.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And even the games themselves, we had 22 million people on average attending our games, not on average, total attendance to our games this year, and that's the second time in league history that's happened. And then you just fast forward all the way to the present. We're having an incredible playoffs. I hope everyone here is getting a chance to watch the playoffs. We had the most watched opening weekend for the first round in 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and Game 7 between the Rockets, Warriors. No love for the Rockets, but yeah, I figured for Golden State. That was the most viewed Game 7 in, I think, about 15 years. And we're just having incredible action on the court. As of last night, with the Warriors winning Game 1 in Minnesota, it's the first time in the second round that all four teams have won on the road. That's never happened before in the current playoff format. So just an exciting product, and our job is just to deliver that in as many ways as possible to fans.
So let's talk about how you actually do that and how you serve the most disconnected fans out there and make us into a community. You were at Nike before you joined the league, so you really come to both sports and design, honestly, as they say. When you joined in 2018, the NBA already existed online. They had NBA.com, had an app. Well, what was your mandate, and how did you build it?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about innovation and how we think about it at the league, because I think that sets the stage well for what we did. Innovation for us is simply about pushing the boundaries of what the expectations of a sports league should be. And that's to serve our tech-savvy fan base. We have fans that are global, as you know.
Yeah.
They're tech-savvy, they're young. I think we have over 1 billion fans in the world that call themselves NBA fans. Half of them in the US are under the age of 35. And they expect us to be on the forefront of technology, pushing the boundaries and quite frankly, meeting them where they are in terms of how they engage with not just us, but other content experiences, other things, other aspects of their life. So it's that next generation fan who we really had in mind when we set about to rethink our direct-to-consumer business and our direct-to-fan relationship. So small group of us assembled in 2018. We literally put the fan in the center of a whiteboard and connected all the different dots around that fan. And that was the beginning, and the outcome was an investment in technology, people, product. We re-architected our entire tech stack from the cloud infrastructure to the streaming platform to all the middle tiers, the API layers, and of course we redesigned and rebuilt the very top of that tech stack, which is the digital experiences and the NBA app that people use today. So that new platform and technology now allows us to do all of the innovation that you see.
So let's talk about the innovation, and we're going to talk about your NBA design language, which I was very excited to learn about too. So walk us through what you brought to what was born once the tech stack was developed and what was possible, and how do you continually think about what fans want and what would be fun and what would be interesting and what the players want?
Yeah, I mean, you tipped this off by talking about 99% of our fans, right? We have 1 billion fans around the world. 99% of them will never set foot in an NBA arena. And so the NBA app or digital experiences become the way in which they can connect to the league. And our job is to make sure that we can create tailored, curated experiences that allow them to basically bring them closer to the game. That's our mission. We want to bring fans all around the world closer to the game. And there's a few things that the new app and the new platform allow us to do that weren't possible before. The first thing is storytelling, right?
Yeah.
Our product experience is nothing but a canvas for our great content team to tell stories about what's happening with players, teams, and the biggest moments of the game. And you're a New Yorker, you're a Knicks fan.
Yes, I mentioned that.
Yes, you did. Let's take an example. Last Saturday, the Knicks eliminated the Pistons in Game 6.
Yes.
Nail biter.
I love you. It's fine.
Jalen Brunson, Kia clutch player of the year.
I know.
Jalen Brunson.
Heart attack, Jalen.
He hit a game winner, right? A three-pointer from the top of the key that ended that series. Incredible shot. Before we had Next Gen and the new app, you would have seen a clip of that from the broadcast, and that would have been it.
Yeah.
Within minutes of that happening, we pushed to the app this nice story package that had 6 or 7 angles of that shot.
Wow.
Behind Jalen, from the baseline, from the side, and it was a different way to really watch that highlight. In fact, last night, I don't know if anyone caught the Pacers-Cavaliers game last night. Pacers were down, Indiana Pacers were on the road, game 2, they were down 20, I think, at one point. And somehow they came all the way back, and the last play of the game was Tyrese Halliburton, all-star, missing his free throw, grabbing the rebound, going back to the top of the key, and hitting a three-pointer to win by 1 point. It is playground-style things that you do as a kid. He even talked about that in the press conference, that's what he imagines doing as a kid, right? And that moment was caught so well on broadcast, but again, once it happened, we pushed the notification out and delivered this in-arena view of that experience that was filmed from the baseline where the Indiana Pacers bench was standing. And I love natural audio, so there was no broadcast call, it was just nat sound from within the arena. And you could hear the anxiety of the Cleveland fans as he's making his move. You could really get a sense of it. And then he hits the shot, and the camera pans in, and it just runs onto the court with the rest of the Indiana Pacers players. And you're on the court, the camera shaking up and down, but it really gives you a sense of that moment, right? And that's how we bring fans closer to the game. So that's one aspect of what the app is able to do now that we weren't able to do before. As I mentioned, we have League Pass
Yeah,
in
tell us about
200 territories, so there are a lot of fans who want to watch live as well, and our job is to create the best live viewing experience for those fans. And that means highest quality video resolution, lowest latency from the action on the court to the action on your phone, and as many choices as possible that we can give a fan in terms of how they want to watch the game. We have alternate streams that feature celebrities or feature analysts that are focused on betting or strategy. We have multiple language feeds.
3 dialects in Spanish.
Yeah, we have Spanish, Korean, we have Portuguese. We even have some AI-generated broadcasts that we're experimenting with to fill some of the gaps. I like to watch some of those streams. I speak poorly in all three of those languages. It's fun for me to try and learn a little bit. And just to put a fine point on that, everyone knows one of the biggest storylines this year was Luka Doncic. I don't know if there are any Lakers fans here in the crowd, but wow, no love for LA. Okay,
Okay.
Luka Doncic was traded from the Mavericks to the Lakers,
Yeah.
and everybody marked on their calendar the game in April where he was coming back to Dallas to play, and I took a count. We had 18 different ways to watch or listen to that game.
Really?
Through our app experience. And so that kind of flexibility is what we want to offer to fans who are watching through League Pass. I mentioned the alternate streams. Probably my favorite alternate stream this year was one that we did Saturday afternoon in April. It was Atlanta against New York. And it featured, speaking about that young fan, we actually had some of those young fans calling the game. We did a NBA and HBCU crossover. So we had 3 aspiring sports journalists from Tennessee State, Florida A&M, Kentucky State University calling the game, but also talking about their alma maters, their traditions, how they became fans. It was Atlanta versus New York, so they got into debates about Southern food against New York food.
Right.
Top 5 lists of hip hop artists from the South, versus the East Coast or the Northern East Coast. So it was just a really fun way to engage the game, or to engage fans in the game. So I hope that we do more of those things.
So you have access to an extraordinary amount of player data, like just that you collect through your cameras, even in real time. But before we dig into what you're using that for, how are you measuring success with the app? What are the metrics that you care about?
Look, we care about viewership. We care about daily active users. We care about how many times people are coming into the app. But honestly, the app is just one part of the NBA story, right? And if we are finding ways to connect fans to the game in a deeper way, that's success for us.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. One of the things that we also launched with the new NBA app and streaming platform is the membership program. Right? We put the fan at the center, and we created a membership program called NBA ID.
Right.
And what that program is really just a way for us to celebrate fans. Right? Of course, they get exclusive benefits and offers, not just from the league, but from partners like Nike, Fanatics, and other partners that we work with. But we want to use NBA ID as a way to give fans to do something that they weren't able to do before. We were here in San Francisco 3 months ago for the NBA All-Star Weekend. And for the first time ever, we had a fan vote during the dunk contest. So as an NBA ID member, you were able to scan the QR code, whether you're in the arena or watching the broadcast, and vote for the dunks live as they were happening. And we aggregated the fan votes and actually delivered them to one of our social media influencers and creators, Jesser, very popular, and he was the 5th judge on the scorer's table during the dunk contest. So that's a way for fans to participate in the game like they haven't been done before. That, to me, is a great measure of success.
You said something, in our prep call, you said something really beautiful, and you're talking about the NBA design language, and you quoted a furniture designer, Charles Eames. And you said, we tried to strike a balance of designing for a specific device and platform in a way that feels native to that platform, but also be able to express our NBA design language so fully, so that fans know that they're using our experience and what that all means. And that seems to be a universal quest for design and innovation teams. How do you make sure that NBA design language is accessible to the non-designers who must be part of all the rooms inventing the next best version of the digital experience?
Great question, and I like how you framed that. I wasn't sure that I said that, but no.
I wrote it down.
Yeah, exactly. It starts with that quote from Eames, great architect, furniture designer, who said that the details are not the details, they make the design.
Right.
I think Dylan, in his keynote today, talked about that, right? About design is about obsessing over the details. And it's believing that makes what we do possible no matter what function you're in, whether you're a product manager, whether you're a designer, whether you're an engineer. You have to believe that the details matter in the experience. And that could be something as simple as a gesture that a user makes on your device, how something animates, the size of the topography, the topography choices that you're making, and how one experience moves through another, and how you go from one screen to the next without the user or the fan, in our case, really even knowing what's happening, right? Effortless, fluid design. That takes a lot of craft and a lot of effort to reach that level of refinement. So it's about thinking about those platforms as well, because the designers of these platforms, the creators of tvOS or Roku, they have craft as well, and they think about creating great platforms for the users of their device, right? And so we want to make sure that we're honoring that and building experiences that take advantage of all of the capabilities and the design language that's on those devices, but at the same time, it has to feel uniquely NBA.
Right.
And our design team, some of who are here today, have done an amazing job of creating this language that really evokes just the power and the excitement of basketball and the artistry of the game.
Now, I'll tell you, the thing that's also struck me as I was talking to Giuseppe about his great love for the Celtics was
Love that you remember
how
his name.
close he felt to the players.
Right.
That part really got my attention. That it felt exciting, and that what was happening in his hand and the battles he's having with his friends about love of their teams felt real. That good feel. It feels good to be a fan. It feels good to have rivalries. It's just, you enjoy it. But he felt like he knew them.
Right.
And I think that was a big part of what you've been very successful at, is bringing the stories of the players forward.
Right. Yeah, and as you saw in that video, we're just really focused on telling stories in different ways and more innovative ways. Just as a few examples of that, tonight, if I'm lucky, I'm going to be watching OKC Denver on a 7-inch screen on a seat back on a plane. If the connection's good, that's going to be my live game experience. At the same time, there's going to be about 1,500 people in a venue in Los Angeles called Cosm. It's the company that we've done a partnership with. And they're going to be watching on really comfortable leather couches with amazing food catered to them. And they're going to be seeing the game in 8K, on an 80-foot screen with 30 speakers delivering spatial audio. And they're going to see the action from different viewpoints that are custom made for that experience, cameras that are placed specifically to deliver that Cosm experience. I saw this myself firsthand in Utah in their experience center for the dunk contest in 2023, and I saw for the first time the vantage point from where all of the players stand and they watch the dunk contest. You see them, and why are they so animated? They're marveling at these feats of these athletes when they're incredible athletes themselves, and you see that angle, and then you get it. You're like, oh my God, that looks humanly impossible, and so. I'm excited for those fans tonight that get to watch the game, and that way. We're also telling stories through AI. We're using generative AI in new ways. For a lot of people that are here today, they're going to be out and about tonight when the Celtics and Knicks play, and they're going to be checking their phones, hopefully on the NBA app, which they're all going to download if they don't have. And they're going to go into the game and try to get a story of the game. And we've created something called Insights, which are AI-generated insights that are stitching together all of the different statistics and creating a narrative of what's happening in the game. So last night I tuned in, and the Warriors were up 20. Steph Curry was already out. He's going to be back hopefully in a week with the hamstring. So I don't know if he'll make games 3 and 4 here. In San Francisco, hopefully, but...
But you're just talking as a person. You don't have any information about Steph Curry.
No, this is just what I saw in the news reported today.
We're just wondering.
That's all.
We don't know. We're just chatting. Yeah.
And so they were up 20 still with him out, and I went into the app and I went straight to Insights, and there was a summary that said, the Warriors are shooting 48.9% from 3, and Minnesota's 2 for 22 from 3, less than 10%. That's it. In the modern game, that's the story of the game. And so I didn't have to hunt around.
Right.
And it was delivered to me in natural language. So that's something that we're doing with AI. And probably the thing that I'm most excited about right now is the optical tracking systems that we have.
It's scary though, man.
So we've got 20 cameras in every arena.
Yeah.
And they are capturing 29 points on every player's body, and with sub-centimeter accuracy, and capturing XYZ coordinates, so 3-dimensional pose data, so player pose, 3D pose data, 60 times a second. And that generates millions and millions of data points, which we are then translating in real time. And we're just scratching the surface of the things that we can do. So we have AI models that are translating that in real time to create the dunk score, right? Which is basically a new way to learn about a player, to see a different side or different story of that player. There's 4 different categories. We're measuring jump, style, power, and defensive contest, right? Defensive contest is just how far the defender is from the dunker and how much of an effort they're putting to stop that dunker. That's one of the most important elements, right? That's why everyone loves posters, right?
Yeah.
You can call them posters.
The action, yeah.
You get posterized. And so it just changes the way that you appreciate the game and the players, to your point. Last night, Donovan Mitchell ran down the lane, threw a vicious tomahawk dunk down. And the first thing that went through my mind was, I wonder what the dunk score was on that and where he is on the leaderboard for the playoffs. And within minutes, I was able to see that was number 5 on our leaderboard. You can see the dunk score leaderboard in our app today. That was number 5 for the playoffs. Anthony Edwards, of course, has the top dunk from the first round.
Man, I could talk to you all day, Jay. I really could. I have a million questions, but we'll have to save it for another day. With just a few seconds left, just leave on a philosophical note. How do you balance delivering what you need to do to delight the fans with the need to invent the future?
Yeah, I think we can do both at the same time, right? That's what fans demand of us. We're fortunate enough to be a global league that reaches this many fans around the world. And so I think as long as we're focused on storytelling and bringing fans closer to the game, we'll be able to innovate and serve them today.
I love it, Jay. Thank you so much. Congratulations. And we're fans of all of you. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience.